Today we're starting off with MH3 Mono Green Devotion, taking us a little while to get here. But where should we start? So I would say that in theory, the start of this idea of this deck is that Ugin's Lab imprints to Scion of Draco, and then you can cast a Scion of Draco turn one. This is maybe like what people were thinking like a month ago, but for me, it's like a little bit different where I'm reminded a lot of the domain devotion enchantress deck. And honestly, maybe that deck's kind of okay right now. But I'm reminded of that deck and how a big part of that was you have your Sanctum Weaver as a 2 mana card that can make a lot of mana, but you just have no other mana engine, and if your Weaver got disrupted, it wasn't good. And kind of in the same way, Mono Green Devotion, Nykthos can make a lot of mana. In this deck, though, it's mostly like just with Leyline, but Nykthos can make a lot of mana. But if your Nykthos gets disrupted, you're pretty screwed. And so now that you have Ugin's Lab and Fanatic of Rhonas as like just backup mana engines is like a really big deal. And then there's some really cool overlapping synergy with Fnatic just being a great mana dork, it getting turned on by Scion of Draco, Kiora wanting you to play 4-power creatures. I tried to be more in on like the 4-power creature thing and then play Old Growth Troll over 6, but it's just like you're an Ugin's Labyrinth deck. It's very awkward to play Old Growth Troll on your Ugin's Lab deck and just like, oh, I could cast my 3-drop on turn 3. Oh no, my 3-drop is green. But anyway, beyond this, like you do want to look for another imprintable to Ugin's Lab. I was playing Drowner, the tapped MDFC, for a little while. That card is okay, but it is a non-forest in your Utopia Sprawl deck. It's a tap land. And it ain't Worldbreaker. Worldbreaker has been really good for us in the mono green Eldrazi deck, obviously as an imprintable to Labyrinth, but it also just like, it exiles the ring, it exiles Necrodominance, it gets rid of Static Prison, it just like interacts with your opponent and it just stabilizes you really hard, and stabilizing is very important. You also card off Kiora too, synergy with 6 with the mill, just a nice tool to have, and can get buffed by Scion of Draco. Let's see. Sorry, I was going somewhere else. Oh, so there's also one more card you could play that I didn't test, and I think is almost definitely bad, but there's an 8-mana prototype creature that can be a green 2, so 4 mana for a 3/3 that untaps a land and turns it into a 3/3. And that's also imprintable to Ugin's Lab, and like it can untap Nykthos for value, but I think the card's a little bit too polarizing, and Worldbreaker just stabilizes you really hard. It's also really cool that you get to play Gigantha in this deck when you don't play Drowner. That's another reason to not play Drowner and play Worldbreaker instead. Is that Gigantha is kind of sick of this deck. It turns on Fnatic. It draws a card off Kiora. It's just like actually a really important tool to have access to. Yeah, I considered Outcast Trailblazer, and it has more synergy with Fnatic and more synergy than Kiora than 6 does. But 6 is just like... The fact that you can cast it turn 2 off Sprawl and Lab is really nice. Turn 2/6 is really strong thing to do. And the card quality is just so much higher. And like 6 and Fnatic do have synergy where you get to like mill over a Fnatic and eternalize it sometimes. That I think you just want to play the higher card quality. Also, like it's like imagine if these are Outcast Trailblazers, you're like a little light on card advantage or like card selection, and like a lack of card, and like 6 being a really good card selection tool is really important for this archetype. Card is kind of interesting. Probably not that good though. But that's what the YouTube is for too. Got VODs. Blood Moon is doing a lot of lifting both energy variants. Yeah, I agree. Energy good versus Black Scam? I don't even think so. It's not bad though. The energy is like very powerful and just like it just kind of curves out and just lets you, and like if your opponent stumbles at all, you kind of can't win, and then they bring in a bunch of good sideboard cards and can main deck Blood Moons, and that's just okay. Storm again? Some kind of brew. Not tapping the amulet now is probably wrong. Attacks me, ignores Kiora. So I have 4, 5, possible 6 mana next turn. 6 mana indeed. I could just get the ring. I'm a little bit scared of being comboed. I'm just gonna grab the ring. I can like untap it with Kiora next turn. Dingo must have filtered out the Lados fans. He just suspects audio. He did, yeah, actually. Just her runes prowess. I don't know that we're playing against prowess. They didn't reveal Gigantha. Obviously it could be. They didn't tap this amulet end of turn either. Okay, we might be playing against prowess. Ring is also very good against prowess. Feeling good about our spot. Wonder why no Gigantha. Maybe some people just don't like it, I guess. Think you boosted for the 4 months? Thanks for all the work. Have you given Flesh and Blood a try? No. I have a friend, like one of my closest friends, his brother, was, I guess isn't anymore, a like full-time Flesh and Blood content creator. And so I talked with him a little bit about it, and I talked to my friend about it, but I haven't actually learned the game myself. Talked to like Tannen about it some. I'm just not tapping this amulet. Alright. There are 3 6s. We need 3 more to have 6 6s in our hand. Imprints a gut shot to the unstable amulet. Probably have to commit some resources to kill my Kiora here, or so they gut shot it down to 4. Yeah, but it's they can hit Delirium off the gut shot or to get Kiora dead. Okay, Amtraptor into another amulet. We had a guy at LGS that finished top 64 at the Flesh and Blood finals, and he said he repeatedly told us to not even think about playing it. Huh, that's weird. Dang, that's good. The Lavadar flashbacks and the deal me 2. The Gutshot's gonna deal me, or deal me 3, deal me 3. I'd just be dead. Is this just prowess with energy package added? Yeah, it's been like somewhat stock, although they're playing Boros Charm in the main, which is kind of cool. I actually like it. Makes more sense, I think, in this archetype than in Boros aggro. You just didn't enjoy the game, I guess it was good. I guess so. It's just kind of an interesting thing to be like. I don't know. Well. Look for another ring or die. Death it is. Apparently Boros has a 55% win rate. What was it like at the Pro Tour, I wonder? Yeah, maybe Boros is just good. I mean, Boros is definitely good, but let's see, let's look at it. Where even is it? Why is Rakdos evoke? Like why is it why we see go why is it Golgari, Amulet Titan, Rakdos, Domain Aggro, like just image 2 decks? It's like, and like why is it like the first thing up against like these archetypes? Like why is Golgari, let's see, let's can't even find it again. I guess it's mostly not doing data against these. It's kind of weird. It is a lot of matches that this is going over though. Do you think the Boros position in the meta will shift significantly if Nadu is gone, or is it weak against decks that will come back with Nadu gone? I mean, it's very bad against Nadu, I think, or like at least game 1, it's very bad against Nadu. So I would think that Boros would get better. I don't know. It's like I guess like the combo decks. Boros is pretty bad game one, and then like Boros is just fair deck game one with sometimes Blood Moons, Ranger Captains for and Static Prison, Galvanic Discharge for some interaction, and then a ton of sideboard cards for sideboard games, which is like a pretty reasonable formula, right? Put it ruined by turn two Kiora into 6. Boros is at 60% win rate overall, 44 against Nadu. Where that wasn't in this data. I think I heavily doubt 66% win rate. This is probably a little too high for me to believe. I do believe that it's good. Looking at the 6 months date, I see. Maybe we should do just the last month. There we go. Okay, thank you for that. Should probably look at this website more. Okay, so 42% against Nadu. 35 against Jeskai. It's pretty bad. Although only 43 matches is not the biggest sample size. I'm surprised it's 60% against Eldrazi Tron. Surprises me. Surprised it's 50 against Ruby Storm. I guess Ruby just bad. Bad against Necro. Surprised that it's ahead against Yogg. It's interesting. Only a little ahead against Izzet. Very bad against Goryo, although only 8 matches. But I'm just like this is like not super representative of tournament Magic. I think where I'm of the impression that Goryo's is going to be a big tournament deck, or is a big tournament deck right now. So only 8 matches feels a little off. And then it's like we got 10 matches against Merfolk, Girl Prowess. 63% against Livingston seems so high too. I'm pretty surprised about that. Yeah, but just like where is this data coming from? Challenges? I can never remember how the site gets the data, but it's like, you know, we have 2 matches of Boros versus Mardu Ephemerate. What is Mardu Ephemerate? You know, we have 100% win rate against Rakdos Evoke. It's just like a lot of random stuff here. 1 match against Jun Saga. It's just like a little hard to read too much into. But it's you know, better than nothing, of course. It's a lot better than nothing. Things with paper tournaments like PT and NRG. Well, it didn't seem like that had the PT data in it, but maybe the PT was over a month ago now. I don't think so. Okay, so I block either of these, my 6 dies to the Lava Dart. But it seems like okay to like trade the 6 for the show off and the Lava Dart and the land, and then hope we can top deck well. What happened to the Fulminator Nightmare deck? We're gonna play it after this. Is the Mardu Ephemerate deck you play challenge? Well, I didn't have any red mana in my deck. That was Orzhov. But that is what I'm asking. Like, what is that? You know, what lists are you using? So I don't know. Again, it's good to get a look. I also don't know where that 66% win rate came from. I'd love to know where that data was from. Just certainly a lot of ins and outs to the case at the moment. You can switch it to only MTGO events. Okay. Think you'll work on Gore? Is it all too mainstream now? I remember buying a place that aggressive around in a Kaiju such way version ever since. I mean, maybe. Like, I really feel like you should play 4 Frog in the deck. That's like, you know, something I would like to see. But overall, you know, like, I remember like we had like the first versions of Goryo's with like Gristlebrand Ephemerate, realizing you have this ability to like just dig for Ephemerate to do the thing. Then Atraxa came out, and then we had that build, and then Archaeologist came out, and then we have like we basically built. It was so funny with that deck because we basically built the stock Goryo's deck, and it took like 6 months for the deck to become like actually popular and modern. It was very, very funny the way like everything developed there. But I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I haven't been working on it for a while, and there are a lot of like really talented, really good people who are working on it, and Um, it's kind of like now at the point where I feel like you kind of have to be a deck specialist to like really iterate on it, because it's just like there are so many eyes on the archetype and so many people are trying to figure it out and trying to work on it, and so many people, like, I'm a Goryo's man and I'm just not a Goryo's man, you know. I would have to spend like weeks uh testing all the matchups, trying to understand the ins and outs to like really tune the best 75 beyond just I think we should have 4 Sacking Frog in the deck. And then that thesis might also not even be true after like a lot of testing. And so that's a big part of the reason why I don't work on tier 1 decks very often, is that in order to really iterate on them, in order to really like tune them, like you just kind of have to specialize in it. And I prefer to work on a lot of different stuff than try to specialize in one thing. So tap Ugin's Lab to activate Nykthos is a good feeling. We got 9 mana. This is enough to go Scion of Draco and Worldbreaker, which can maybe help me play around double Boros Charm. Can now also play Fanatic of Rhonas. Seems fine. Maybe I should have seen when I draw off the Worldbreaker. Is there any chance that buying into Goros or RCQ is a bad choice, or is it pretty safe to bet throughout the season? Well, it just kind of depends on how much graveyard hate there is, but it's a very powerful archetype that can play through graveyard hate. So they have a Bolt. I'm down to 6, and I'm down to 4 off the ring. So I'm dead to land Boros Charm, and I'm only, of course, talking about Boros Charm because we got Boros Charm this in game 1. But if they don't, we have a big lifelink attack. And it didn't seem like they have another land in their hand, so gotta be feeling okay. So their last card is a Lava Dart. So now I'm dead to just another Bolt, because another Dart doesn't do it. They can't flash back. Alright, they drew a Mire, and they'll concede. Game 3. If you're going to play your mono green Eldrazi deck over the weekend, would it make any changes? So if I was wanting to, so I want to play another league of the Gruul build we had with Madcap Experiment. I thought that the build was super interesting, where it's like, for the first time playing Madcap Experiment, you don't mind drawing Platinum Empyrean. It just is like very castable. It imprints to Labyrinth, and which has been like a super weird dynamic for that card. And it dodges a good amount of removal in the format, and so it's like, the card Madcap Experiment is just very good in your deck. You can like haste haste your thing with Eldrazi Obligator, or sorry, Linebacker, whatever. Oh, the nuts. What am I trying to say? So I would just test the Gruul deck a lot. I think there's a good chance Gruul is better than Mono Green. Mono Green gets to play more lock pieces. It gets to main deck the Trinispheres. Mono Green is like more tried and true, you could say. But I really want to play another Gruul League at some point this week. So that's like the 3rd or 4th backup deck today. I did end up building the Basim Goryo's deck, and I think it's pretty nice. But I might want to take a Basim break for a day, because we played Basim all day yesterday. Trinisphere, are you also okay? Why are 3 people asking about boarding in Trinisphere? Wait, it's a Karn target. Everything the whole board is a Karn target. Let's just leave them all on the board as Karn targets. How's Basim? Basim's really good. I think the ring build is maybe a bit better than the build we played yesterday. But I think the Goryo's build also has a lot of promise. It's crazy. Even if you don't mind drawing Empyrean, 3 copies has to be better for. Yeah, you could cut an Empyrean. I think that's probably fine. With the 15 months, thank you, welcome back. But for me, it's just you don't mind drawing it is the biggest thing, but you could cut it for something. With the 15 months, thank you, welcome back. But yeah, see here I can Karn for Trinisphere. I don't, no, it's like it's all Karn targets, y'all. You'll board a little bit sometimes. But usually it's like maybe one person will say, "Why don't we board in our Karn target?" But that's that many at once. Disappointed. So we have 6 mana off the Nykthos, 7 off the Yavimaya, 11 off the Fanatic of Rhonas. My opponent hits a Boros Charm. Friday Night Magic with the 60 months. Appreciate you. Welcome back. Is this the dream draw? Yeah. This is these are the powerful draws you want to look for when you play this archetype. Has Wizards been a bit hypocritical in saying they don't want fast ban the format, banning Simian Spirit Guide and Mox Opal, but printing a Soul Land? Yeah. That was a big part of the reason why I was so surprised they printed Ugin's Labyrinth. And I'm still very surprised they printed it. The card is kind of fucked. Got a lot of options. I think I will go with the Trinisphere. Anyway, I'm banning Trinisphere again. Let's not, but I agree it's weird. That was that hypocrisy, just not inconsistency. Yeah, I guess I don't know. Whatever, it's a little bit semantics. To be Simian Spirit Guide should be banned. It is really silly with Cascade cards. It is very silly in Neoform. It's very silly in Belcher. It's silly in Oops All Spells. It is a card that just absolutely should be banned. And Modern has become so much better with Simian Spirit Guide being banned. I am so happy that it is not legal. Turn 2 ring. If only I was on the play. Up against Boros, probably? Going Labyrinth Talisman always seems more nuts than it should be. Yeah, I agree that so one thing about I think that's really exacerbating this whole One Ring conversation is that Ugin's Lab has powered up that card a lot. Right, what you got? Monkey. It's an interesting dynamic. As we see here, it's powering it up a lot. We played around with any of the Birthing Winter Yogg decks. We did a paper testing with Dingo. Yeah, it is also not an archetype that I can really do too much with without focusing. Although I don't know, I have played a lot of Yogg, mostly not on stream. You have Ophelia, maybe? Hmm. One four is looking kind of good on this board, at least. Yeah, to some extent. So, like, the whole like green conversation, which I'm very tired of, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on today, but part of it is Labyrinth made Ring a lot better, and part of it is there's a big correlation with the Ring spiking in price and people talking about banning it. I don't know, but again, it's a little tired convo. You could have played Sprawl before untapping. Oh, I see. Yeah. I couldn't have played Sprawl before tapping the Forest, but then I could have untapped with the Kiora. I think the Ring has been good. It got slightly better. The ring obviously has been a good modern card the whole time it's been legal. It got a lot better with Ugin's Lab. But before MH3 came out, for me the ring is very far away from being like a bannable card. Like super far away from being a bannable card. A ton of counterplay to it, not very dominant. Um I think a big part of its like dominance, like post MH3 is like control is now very good as opposed to it just not being that good before. And then also the control decks are kind of misbuilt. And I think we'll adapt soon, but they're kind of misbuilt where they can't like beat a ring almost at all. Like if you resolve ring against Jeskai, it's so hard to lose, and so like that makes other rings decks a lot better. And then ring is very good against Boros, and so ring is a lot better because of that. And so it is kind of a weird metagame. They also didn't have a Felia. It's kind of a weird metagame, but it's like a combination of like Ugin's Lab and the metagame is like so perfect for it too. And that could change and that could not change. What's the counterplay? Counterspell? Counterspell, Consign, Force of Negation, Orcish Bowmaster, Shieldred, Narset, Shieldred, Narset. There's I don't know, just Karn the Great Creator is another huge one. I I think there's maybe one more big one I'm forgetting. Flute, Leyline Binding. Yeah, Might, Urza Saga for these cards. Just a lot. So I guess I should go Kiora first. Let's see. So cast Kiora. Yeah, World Breaker's another actually a new pretty big one. And speaking of World Breaker here. Jeskai players have been playing at least two pending with the Grixis Triumph to take care of Ring. I would just this should evolve into another Triome and 4 Leyline Bindings or 3 Leyline Bindings, I think. Um but that's a pending is not a very good answer to Ring, honestly, but it is an answer. So niche cards restricted to color deck. I can't believe you heard that list and thought niche cards. The list of Force of Negation, Consigned to Memory, Pithing Needle, Haywire Mite, Leyline Binding, Orcish Bowmaster, Shieldred, Narset, Karn the Great Creator. World Breaker is a modern staple now. Calling these niche cards is with peace and love out of touch. Dude, this hand is so sick if it draws a land. Have to mull again. I think of the draw, I'm really looking for Leyline Scion. Let's mulligan again. Have a Leyline. So we're gonna go. We want to keep Lab. Keep these 5. These should be any color, not blue or black. Any color, not blue or black. Well, I'm gonna keep this land. This is not if a deck that plays Urza Saga, you get to play 1 Needle, and you get to Needle the Saga. You have a Haywire Mite off Saga 2. Pithing Needle is a colorless card. I don't know. Karn the Great Creator is a colorless card. A lot of good green cards. The One Ring is good, but there is a lot of counterplay to it, and to pretend like there isn't is just I don't know. It's a little silly. Yeah, Flute 2. Why is anything banned? There's always an answer to counterplay them. So, how do you respond to comments like this? I get it. Y'all hate the One Ring. Just please, let's maybe just not all day every day, I guess. Yikes. Yikes. Alright. I guess if I draw Scion or Ancient Stirrings into Scion, we are pretty alive still. I don't like the counterspell arguments against the One Ring, like order of drawing, cards matter sometimes, counterspell answers nothing, shrug. So yeah, so I've heard this argument some. This is something that is like an actual good conversation to talk about, and I'm happy to talk about it. But I think it is really relevant to mention counterspell in these conversations because the One Ring is a 4-mana card, and so counterspell isn't good against everything. Like if we're talking about like a Johnny and Asa Pride and Guide of Souls and even like Necro Dominance on the draw is like just it's a 3-mana card. It's tougher to set up yourself for a position where you're like counterspelling the card really profitably. But there are so many counterspells. Oh come on, dude, you're kidding me. There's so many counterspells that like really just like are a blowout against the ring. And when we talk about cards that have counterplay against the ring, I'm talking about cards that are just kind of blowouts. And so this is also like the Ugin's Lab versus Simian Spirit conversation. You can blow out Ugin's Labyrinth with Breakout and Obsidian Charmal. It's harder to blow out Simian Spirit Guide. You can blow out the One Ring by consigning it for 1 mana, spell piercing it for 1 mana. This is a turn 2 card I'm gonna keep, I guess. Very weird hand. And so it's like when you're having the conversation about non-creature 4-mana cards, the fact that they get blown out by cheap counterspells is a very relevant part of this conversation. And in my mind, it's very different from talking about cards that cost less than 4 mana, because those cards are not as much of a blowout if they get countered. And this was a part of the reason why Up the Beanstalk was so crazy, was that it just wasn't a card you could blow out really. I think I'm printing this again. I did mean break the ice. Did I say break the ice? Yeah. It is a good comment. It is a good thing to address. All right. Hopefully this doesn't hit another Blood Moon. Boros, no bad matchups. Boros is no bad matchups. Maybe we draw a basic forest and hit that moon off a Haywire Mite, I guess. Jeez, dude. Must be nice. I think I'm still grabbing it. And still casting it now, so if I draw the forest, I can do the thing. No Citadel on the board? No. I don't have a Citadel on the board. Is it worth holding my 2 draw? I think it's better to do this, so I can immediately play a 4. When you're really behind in these kind of spots, and you like very specific things have to go for your way to win, I think you just have to play for them to win. We're all of a sudden just so behind that we just don't have the luxury. But it's like we're so behind, like I can't play around them Galvanic the Might. If I draw Forest, it's still a good top deck. We need to play for like if something ridiculous like this happens, like 2 Amp Raptors in the Moons, games 2 and 3, we just have to do this. Is it worth putting a Talisman that makes green mana aside for Karn to grab if there's a moon? I don't think it's probably not worth it. It would be very good in this situation. You have Leyline of the Guildpact too. You can try to fetch for a forest, but it is what it is. For the Madcap Eldrazi list, I think I often want to side out the entire Madcap package, because people oversight artifact removal like crazy, and I just put in Breakers of Creation from the side. Is that crazy? There's probably something better. It's like Madcap Experiment just kind of does what Breaker does in a big way, and like there's almost definitely going to be a better plan, but I agree you can side them out. Oh, opponent, come back, please. I guess the counterspell argument is comparable to standard formats where 3-mana counterspells are good against big dumb creature decks. Yeah, I think so. It's just like I totally get the attitude of counterspell is not a good argument against the ring because counterspells counter everything, but counterspells are just blowouts against the ring really often. You play a creature, hold up a spell pierce the ring, and the game is over. And it's like cards like this that just get blown out by like a lot of really commonly played cards are, for me, cards that are just not as concerning. Kai had a tweet recently that was like really well said, kind of with the same thoughts. Is there a Madcap Necro deck? You can't pay life with Empyrean in play. It's a bit awkward. If Ring was in the format, if Twin was in the format, Ring would be way worse. But we've banned all of those tempo cards. If Remand was playable, Ring would be way worse. I bought Splitter Twin and I played one FNM before it was banned. I'm still hurt. You're still hurt. But Twin is would be unplayable in Modern. It would have no effect on the Ring. Although Twin would play the Ring because you untap it with Deceiver Exarch. That'd be sick. Did you see a tweet by Javier that said Flage is stronger than Uro? I didn't see that. I mean, I disagree, but he's not the first person to say it. And it's also kind of a weird conversation, right? Where they just printed so many when I was doing my MH3 review, I'm like, Flage is really good, but is there going to be a playable Red White X deck? And the answer is yes, because there's so many crazy Red White X cards from MH3. And Red White X I think is better than Green Blue X. So does that make Flage better? That the decks Flage goes in would be better than the decks Uro goes in? I don't even know if that's true. Or is it just you look at individual card quality? I don't know. Well, opponents lost connection to the game. They've been gone for 4 minutes. So I maybe forgot to play to the most viable out here as opponent timing out. I'm still figuring out the Dimir Spacine deck. Is there a reason why Imri is a better choice than 6? I've played on leagues. Imri dies so quickly from the 3 damage removals. Well, we tried to build it with 6. You could try splashing 6 instead, but the big thing is that Imri is 1 mana, and then it turns your Mox Ambers into something that taps for mana as soon as turn 1, and you can go Imri and Tommy on turn 1 sometimes. And to some extent also, they're better in multiples, where, you play it for 1 mana, they kill it, you just play another one real quick. But yeah, we tried to build it with 6. I think Imri's better because it's 1 mana, doesn't make your mana worse. I think Javier's Explore was better. What's better, Explore or Lightning Bolt? Explore. If Explore was a 1 mana card, it would be just banned maybe. What is the more powerful effect for the same amount of mana? Explore. They both gain 3, but it's Explore. It's not even close. If Explore was, if they were both 1 mana cards, because you have to evaluate them as being the same mana, because Flage and Uro are the same mana. Explore is banned, So I don't know. Flage is very good, and Flage is much better than Uro in Modern because it's legal, and Uro is banned. But I think Uro would be better. Look, the same people that say Uro would wreck the format are the same that said Jace, Bloodbraid, Stoneforge, and the death of Modern. They don't understand the format has increased in power levels 6 times since Uro. I mean, you're saying that I don't understand the format, but I mean, I understand the format has increased a lot since Uro. I've also, a good format to look at is Timeless. And, you know what's legal in Timeless? The One Ring. You know what card advantage I think is the best card advantage engine in Timeless? Is Uro. I think, for me, when I was playing a lot of Timeless, Uro was better than Treasure Cruise. It was better than the One Ring. It was better than, every other card advantage engine you could play, because it's just so hard to interact with, and it stabilizes you really hard. And it wins the game. It just does everything. So just to say that, we can't... That power levels have increased so much, and we can't conceive of what Uro would be like. We have Timeless. I've played a lot of Timeless, and I think the card is better than Cruise. It's better than Ring. Just it is the best card advantage engine in that format, in my opinion, or my experience, maybe I should say, as someone who played a lot of that format. And I know it's pretty different now. Yeah, better than Dig. The best one. There's so many answers to Uro. No, there are very few answers that are good against Uro. If you Swords of Plowshares in Uro, you have 3 for 1 to yourself. If you Counterspell in Uro, you have 2 for 1 to yourself. There are very few, blowouts against Uro. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the Ring, too. It's Counterspell in Uro, you have 2 for 1 to yourself. Counterspell Ring, you are way ahead. It is very different. This is why Simian Spirit Guide is hard to interact with. Nadu hard to interact with. The Ring, Ugin's Lab easier to interact with. So I think they're less of a problem. It's actual gameplay and how blowoutable a card is matters a lot when we're talking about how good it is. And it is just so you put, if you Fatal Push an Uro, it's coming back, baby. Unholy Hit an Uro, you have 3 for 1 to yourself, and it's coming back. It is just to say there's a lot of answers to Uro is different from saying there are a lot of good answers to Uro, because there aren't. Even like the Bowmasters isn't very good against it. All right, we won, baby. 2-0. 2-0. Play to our outs there. Let's fucking go. Amtraptor Blood Moon leaves. There's I don't need to prove anything. I turned to Amtraptor to Blood Moon twice. I have nothing else to prove. I think maybe I should. No, I'm gonna get my basic. They could be Gigantha with Blood Moon in their deck. Is Surgical good answer to Uro? I didn't when Uro was legal. I didn't think it was. You're still 2-for-1ing yourself. It is just like you're just 2-for-1ing yourself still. It's not bad against Uro, but like if their deck is built well and they just have other win cons, they just take the 2-for-1 where they like put a land into play and get a card. Maybe I should have waited on the imprint. Blage is 35% timeless and Uro is 12%. Yeah, I don't know. So this is also like, is the timeless metagame like, how real is it to some extent? I don't know. Timeless is a very weird format. So this is also what we're talking about though, is like Boros is a crazy deck, it got a million new cards. Timeless is a format without a lot of interaction. And so like I don't think it's necessarily wrong to think that Boros would be a better deck than like any Uro deck in a format like Modern or Timeless. I think that that's fine. But does that like how does that factor into your evaluation of which card is better? I think is kind of an interesting conversation. What does better mean? Does that mean the deck with Flage in it is winning more than the deck with Uro? That seems like a fine way to evaluate it. Or does it mean, or does better mean that when you cast Uro, it's better than the card Flage? I think you could really have either interpretation of what the word better means. So we can cast the Worldbreaker next turn, right? And just for me, I think better means that it is higher card quality when you play it. But I think you can say that that like if your decks with Flage are winning more than your decks with Uro, that's a fine way to take it too. Maybe reductive thinking, but 6 lands Uro was sometimes a keep. Yeah, it was. I agree, kind of like a narrow thing to think about, but Uro is so fucking dumb. It's true that you can counter the One Ring or exile with control decks, but in aggro decks, it's hard to interact with against the ring. We need more artifact exile artifact creature to have a chance at aggro shell, I guess. I don't know if I agree. I think there's like a lot of good options. I really think that this feeling of like aggro decks are tough against the ring is that specifically Boros is bad against the ring, but ooh. I have a complicated turn. Specifically Boros is bad against the ring, I think, but and that's like the main aggro deck, but you can play Bowmaster in your deck, and there are a lot of what you can you can play Pithing Needle in any deck, so to say that you need more exile artifact I think isn't true. Just have Static Prison. But I think this feeling is mostly that the ring is good against Boros. And Boros is very popular, but I could be off. So if I play this, then I have 1 mana short of casting the Worldbreaker. So maybe I just cast the Worldbreaker. Is there any way I can't play Leyline and Scion this turn? Yeah, I'll just cast the Worldbreaker. It's okay. We've all said our piece. Everyone has their own opinions. That's fine. It's good to talk about this stuff too, especially while our opponents are timing out and leaving the game. So it looks like I can cast the Stirrings kind of cleanly because I can go tap this for Leyline, put this back into my hand, then Devotion. Nothing to see here. And to some extent, it's just kind of like again, you can have your opinions. For me right now, the fact that the ring is so good against this, look at this. This is their turn 3. This is a very common turn 3. The fact that the ring exists and like gives decks a game against this, it isn't that bad a thing. You can have your opinions. We should probably move on, but this has at least been my play experience. Is the fact that the ring is pretty good against this is maybe not so bad for modern. Oh, so that was their turn 4, because I rule breakered them. That's just a sign that the game keeps going the wrong direction. You can have that opinion for sure. That is a fine opinion to have. I'm having fun. I'm having a good time every day I tune into. It's okay if you're not having a good time. It's okay if you don't like the game. I'm having a good time. My attack with this World Breaker, this Ajani is pretty scary. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a little exhausting too. Like the main reason I've gone so in on this is we had an opponent who timed out, so we had to talk about something, you know. But I agree, we should probably not talk about it as much as we do. So the Amp Chapter also checks my Scion of Draco. If I attack with the World Breaker, they block with a cat, they flip the Ajani. Kind of tough. But I find nothing. That's 1-0. Okay, not nothing. Alright, so let's go ahead and attack with our World Breaker. Wait, the ring chain, another ring is heavily pipe pattern. I don't know. Let's not anymore. If you hate the ring, if you disagree with everything I said, that's okay, that's allowed. But for the sake of the quality of the stream, let's maybe move on. But maybe it is. Maybe it is if it pushes this, if it can check this stuff also. But yeah. maybe it is. Okay. No more. We just hold the 6 for now. Any Wrath also answers stuff, but doesn't get to draw cards. So, well, the thing, just Wrathing isn't that good against Boros because they're a Flage deck. They have so much card advantage. It's I don't know. But again, like with Piece of Love, I don't want to get any more stun locked. We've all said our pieces. I appreciate the conversation. I'd like to talk about anything else for a while. So we still have green mana. I have enough mana to go 6 into ring still. One problem is I kind of have to trade. I kind of have to trade Scion for Amtraptor. Because of the whole Ajani ultimate, and then maybe find another Scion. Maybe we can find a Karn or something. Oh, I still have the Fanatic also. So let's look for a Karn. Found a Karn. And then I have 2, 4, 5. Explosives on 0 is looking kind of juicy. Now I just get to attack the Ajani down, I think. Oh, sorry. Just meant to play the 6 pre-combat. So I attack with just these. My opponent can go, let's say they go block here, and they go 1, 2, 3. on this, and then the Johnny takes 1, and they can still -4. Okay, I'm gonna lose the Scion, I think. We aren't looping rings. I mean, we could loop rings in the spot. I feel like this. I kind of feel like this was the better play. I should have also played the 6, but I'm gonna gain like 14 life points, kill most of my opponent's creatures, kill their Ajani. In a spot where like if my opponent just finds like a static prison, maybe I'm not so bad. Although maybe I could be a static prison. You lose trample. Oh, I didn't realize I was gonna lose trample in combat. Okay, maybe this line was worse. Yeah, I can use if they don't kill Gigantha, I can cast 6 post combat with it. Oh no! I still have trample because they all have first strike. They all have first strike, so they trample over at the same combat step. Well, they're really come on. You gotta block here. Yeah. All right. So because I can't use Gigantha to cast Scion, I can't retrace the Scion this turn. With Thalia, Heretic Athar be good in Boorish meta with all the creature and big mana decks. Some people have been saying I've heard people say that they've been playing the card and been liking it. As far as like how good it is actually, I don't know. I haven't been playing it. Could also just get another explosives on 0 down. Seems fine. Maybe explosives on 1 actually. Can I spend Gigantha mana on explosives? No. So again, I was a little bit cleaner if I had played the 6 pre-combat, I think, but things seem to be relatively under control. I'm gonna lose my Karn to Guide of Souls. You know, they have 2 cards in their hand. Fnatic like tapping for so much mana through Blood Moon is so important, but also feeling this in the mono green Eldrazi deck. Just playing 6 of Looping Rings seemed like GG. I mean, this is also GG, and it also ends the game in like a reasonable fashion. But this also wins the game. We don't need to be too nitpicky. I think it's like I think we're just fine. But yeah, we could have ringed last turn and then this next turn, but it doesn't seem that different from just doing it this turn. Warburger's reach to protect Karn. Yeah, then maybe I guess they're just missing the reach. I guess I missed it too, huh? As they kill over 6s. Seems very difficult for them to do that, but I think I like to think I'd be able to win the game still probably. I also get to go like 6 retrace Scion, so that the windows to kill both is pretty narrow. When will Heritage Year be playable again? Never. Probably. Alright, their hand was 2 bolts. I mean, Scion of play means they just don't get to do that. I mean, come on, let's not be so nitpicky. We're winning this game super easily right now. This game is very over. Let's not be too too doomy gloomy. Come on. I'm gonna explosives. I'm sack this explosives on 1, and I'm going to explosives on 0. All right, going to game 2. Charbelcher Elves, mark my words. You don't get to play Quarian Ranger. Charbelcher Elves. Why does it sound so sick? So you get 8 green MDFC, or sorry, 12 green untapped MDFCs. If you could play 16, it would be really clean. There's only 12. It doesn't. I mean, it sounds really fun. If there was one more untapped green MDFC, it would be like just kind of a very clean build. But it's a little messy without the 12. Play Black Green Elves. The black lands are still going to be pretty bad, even if you have a couple of black elves in your deck. Pretty good. We have not been doing very well at dodging turn 2 Blood Moons, but maybe we can dodge it this time. 9 mana on turn 2. Had opponent end up with a bunch of tokens of also pride. With Fable of the Mirror Breaker, they copied it. I wonder if you could do like, okay, so in this Elves deck, you could play 12 green MDFCs. You could play 1 basic forest and 4 abundant harvest. Or you get, I wonder if there's like a more powerful land. I don't think you want to get Nykthos. Nykthos isn't that good. Stomping Ground? Maybe. I would have played Karn and pop E in 1. Well, I'm gonna do that next turn. But maybe it was better this turn. I mean, I lose the Sprawl, which isn't nothing. Monty Python card's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll brew the Elves deck. The Abundant Harvest thing kind of makes sense. But you play 13 lands. Probably not that tough to build. Alright, let's see them. Well. Oh, they're just announcing it? Oh, no, here they are. Tim the Enchant... Oh, dude, when I don't know what's going on. When I move Chrome from one monitor to another, it just, like, doesn't work. Okay, beautiful Tim the Enchanter, Prodigal Sorcerer. Bring out your dead, buried alive. 'Tis but a scratch dismember. An African Swallow Birds of Paradise. An European Swallow Birds of Paradise. We want a Shrubbery, 3 visits. The Bridge of Death, Door to Nothingness. Oh, I need that for my Timeless Lotus stack. Sir Berderby Scales, Ashnod's Altar. Castle of Arg, Dark Depths. The Black Beast of Arg, Marriott Lage. Awesome. Very cool. Okay, so I should have... I can cast a Scion if I hit a Scion. Not quite that lucky. With the Gigantha's card's kind of like a cantrip, so I should probably just keep it. 3 cards in their hand still. Another Static Prison to get my World Breaker and kill my Karn. We got 2 cards. We got some World Breaker on turn 2, and then we got a 4 for 1 off the okay, 4 for 2 off the explosives, and we're still not locked up to win. So it can go 8 mana, Kiora, floating 5, untap Nykthos, down 2, down to 3, update up to 11, Gigantha in hand, play Gigantha, 3 mana floating. Never watched Monty Python as a humor hold up. I watched it with Esther not that long ago, and Esther kind of laughs at everything, so it's kind of hard to say. But she thought it was pretty funny. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh. Yeah.
They made a Monty Python Secret Lair.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll show it to you later. It's pretty good.
I see. I know that a lot of people are like diehard fans of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen any of the others besides Holy Grail.
Wait, didn't we see Life of Brian?
You've seen Life of Brian. I haven't seen Life of Brian.
Oh. I guess I'm a bigger fan.
Actually, do you want to see it? You want to live react to the cards? Our opponent's playing kind of slow.
Oh, okay.
So this is Prodigal Sorcerer.
Hmm.
Tim
Okay.
the Enchanter. Bring out your dead.
Buried alive.
Tis but a scratch. Which is the actual card is Dismember.
Oh, nice. I see.
African Swallow. European Swallow. We want a shrubbery.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, do you remember that part?
No.
The Bridge of Death. This is a card I play sometimes, actually. It's kind of embarrassing that I do. Sir Bedivere Scales. I don't know how to say his name. The Castle Arg. And then the Black Beast of Arg.
I need to watch it again because I
Yeah.
don't recognize a lot of those.
Okay, that is a dead Gigantha. Wait, how am I? Wait, what did I get to 7 life points? Okay, thankfully I drew a 6, but the fact that we like, I don't know, maybe we're not, maybe we might lose this game. Literally, when did my life total get so low? Maybe I can do some Karn burst stuff here. So I can return Gigantha, draw a card, return I guess it only returns creatures or planeswalkers. Creature, land, and or planeswalker. So I can return Gigantha, and I can gain 4. So would it be better for me to Chain Veil first? If I Chain Veil, I get to be mana positive without extra. Chain Veil's got to be mana positive. Well, no, we need to be able to beat a burn spell here, so I want to burst to gain life. Oh, also, I be picking up the land lets me retrace like explosives again. So yeah, let's go now. Grab the burst. Return Gigantha Wooded Foothills. And then we get to go Gigantha, draw a card. And then the explosives killing the static prison would let me draw a card off Kiora also, although I could just now cast this. And maybe explosives on 0 and kill those treasure tokens. Unironically close game. Amtraptor versus the world. If we had Kiora to untap Chain Veil, but yeah, another Kiora would have got infinite. Yeah, but just gaining life to beat a Bolter Flage is just too important to not do here. Okay, so we're 3-0 with an asterisk. We can just pretend that we drew the forest in that one game that our opponent timed out after they were pretty ahead. Get a trophy prediction going. They played Ragavan on turn 1 and they hit me. I went turn 2 Worldbreaker. Okay, let's keep this. Can also go off if Kiora can activate 7 times. Well, I know you can untap the thing and then you get to plus the Karn. Maybe it was enough. It's kind of hard to have that much mana. What deck could be turn 1 Ugin's Lab Scion, Eldrazi-tron, Goryo's, Storm. Another Boros opponent. So if I get a Trio, my Scion costs 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll have 5 next turn. So I think I'll just Surveil. And I could draw another fetch land and still Scion. There must be a way for Kiora to be lethal. I mean, there are ways. It's just not lethal every time. They hit a Bowmaster. We don't need Kiora with the amount. 2 Kiora. I didn't think we had enough to untap the Veil enough times, but maybe we did. So I'm 1 mana short of Karn Bridge. So I wonder if it's ever right for me to Giganta in my hand. If I get a Bowmaster, I can technically block Amtraptor, ping Bowmaster, and let Karn take 2. I don't think that that's probably super good. So I put Gigantha in my hand. Next turn I can cast Gigantha, and then I can cast Fanatic. I'm a little short. I think I'm just going to play Nykthos, cast Karn, grab Ballista, and pass. Let me know what you'd have done here. This was a tough turn. One thing that's interesting if I draw a fetch land is I can like Scion of Draco for 4 mana, and then I guess I can only 2/2 Ballista after that. We had, because when Kiora have 1 counter, we use it to untap Nykthos instead of Veil, and then generate a bunch of mana again. Okay, yeah, I didn't think we had enough for that, but I should have looked at it a bit closer. I believe you. So we're not blocking the cat, I guess. I will block Bowmaster. Guess I could block. Yeah, so Karn's dead no matter what. Let's just block the Bowmaster. And then they do get to copy the cat tokens. Maybe I should have got Bridge. They still have Static Prisons. They also have a 1-mana removal spell. We're probably cooked. Yikes. Okay, so I guess we're looking for Leyline? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Technically 7 mana here. So I guess I'm just going to 6 and then Ballista X equals 2. With the intentions of... Well, I guess the problem with killing both Prides is the Ajani. I don't know. It'd be tough to win. Yeah, the copies of Bowmaster interplay but just die because they're 0/0. It's very odd. Dash is a Ragavan. One, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, these are all 2/1s. I'm just gonna block like this, ping the Orc Army, and try not to flip the Ajani. Okay, your turn. Don't think I'm dead. I might be dead. I'm at 4. 2 cards in their hand. Okay, probably have... Do I have set? Can I draw Karn for bridge? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I have enough mana to get a bridge if I chop deck another Karn. That's an out. I mean, I also have the ring. Yeah, I don't know. 6 outs. Plus stirrings for ring, but not for Karn. Right. To game 2 we go. They miss lethal by killing the Arcat. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Super miss lethal. Grip 200k. I mean, we're down a game. Leyline Scion's probably pretty good against them. New red card for Johnny. Well, if they just done it pre-combat, they would have had red permanents. Oh, I guess I could. No, I could have just killed the. Sorry, I could have just killed the Raptor and the Ragavan response. Gilligan, 35 months. Thank you. Welcome back. So I guess they didn't punt. Right, keeping this. Having Leyline's really important because Scion's pretty good against them. Wasn't it killed by 6? Well, again, they could have just done pre-combat, but then we could Ballista kill both red chops, so... Sorry, I don't know why. I guess I didn't really need to respond to that. It's okay. Surveil time. Looking for Ancient Stirring, Scion, Ring. Not a Triome. There's an Ancient Stirring. I'm going to wait a turn on that. So we can Stirrings next turn. If we see a 4-drop, we can imprint the Lab to Worldbreaker. If we see a Nykthos, we'll be, I guess, a little bit short of casting the Worldbreaker next turn. Oof. Could maybe just Eternalize the Fanatic instead of casting the Stirrings. It's probably not right. Do you Hand Hider? I don't want to have to Hand Hider. It's a little sus. I think I just should. It's not like 100% that's what's happening, but I just gonna put it up. Yeah, preventing Eternalize is like kind of reasonable, I think, but or saying that they did that to prevent Eternalize is pretty reasonable, but just gonna put it up. Yeah, I think they're probably not ghosting, but I guess my hand really maybe isn't even that relevant to hide in the first place, right? May their hand be all surgicals. May they hit a galvanic discharge. They hit a static prism, not very good for me. The Amtraptor hits have been so good lately. If they're ghosting, they should wait till their draw step surgery. I mean, they should wait to draw step either way, but it's okay. So we're not taking any damage this turn. We have some outs, obviously. It's a little bit unfortunate that I'm just a little short of Karn for explosives on 1. I'm a mana short next turn. Get explosives on 0, maybe, but definitely a lot worse than 1 in this board. Scion would be kind of an interesting draw. Stirrings could hit Scion or can hit Ring. Yeah, we have both here. What's better? I think that the problem with Scion is that the Guide of Souls would just make stuff too big to get through. So I think I should probably Ring. Okay. Pony, but yeah, to spend an energy here. Oh, I guess, yeah, they shouldn't give me the ring, but it's not the worst legend rule here, I guess. If they don't have a creature in play, they don't get to make any more tokens, which would be big. Okay, not Flage with the ability to Arena of Glory next turn if they either kill their Amped Raptor right now or if they draw like a fetch land. They should probably kill their Amped Raptor. Okay, they decide not to. So am I at... I am at enough mana where if I draw 6 and a land, I can retrace rings. Oh, sorry, this ring is not in the graveyard. So we could be looking for Karn for bridge. Nykthos plus Kiora can make some big amounts of mana here. We only have one more ring in our deck that's not Karn, and we would have to draw an imprintable plus Karn to, or Nykthos to Karn for a ring. I think I ended up not playing the Metamorph. If I had a Metamorph here, Karn would be a lot cleaner. Don't you want to fetch it in step? No, I want to keep my life total as high as possible. Am I dead? So I can go Utopia Sprawl on Ugin's Lab, so I can play Kiora for free. And then this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I could also cast the World Breaker and get rid of the Static Prison, which would Legend Rule the ring, so I'm not taking any damage to ring. But then I am blocking a 6-power creature and a super dead. Okay, so do I have any possible out? I guess I could go cast Gigant. If I had Scion off of my Gigantha draw. Off the Kiora draw off Gigantha, maybe I should say it that way. That gets there. Untap the ring. So if I untap the ring, I'm already gone, but I would have to draw my last copy of the ring. Because like even a Scion doesn't do it, but Gigantha plus Scion does it, I think. Although maybe it just doesn't. Maybe it doesn't even do it because they just have everything as flying. Maybe it wouldn't have even done it. Yeah, but maybe I guess untapping the ring was better. Let's see if we would have hit. So we would have drawn 2 more cards. Nykthos and yeah, you could find Nykthos plus something. Yeah, I guess that's right. That was better. Did not show us what was on the top of the deck. Haven't got to turn 1 Scion yet. Yeah, it's if we didn't get surgical there, we're probably just like in pretty reasonable shape, which is pretty upsetting. It's like upsetting that the surgical was that good, you know. What if it was better for me to play Labyrinth and print the Scion and just put it back into my hand to play get around a discard spell? Obviously, just getting the tap lane down is pretty good. Guess we'll do that next time. In the mono green list, I often want 2 ways for when Blood Moon comes up, so you can different cast Devouring Breaker. Yeah, I mostly. Oh, they left me with the Scion. I think it's a fine attitude to have. I can hide this from another discard spell. And then maybe next turn I'm getting like Surveil land and put Gigant into my hand. World Breaker Answering Moon is a pretty big deal. I think you could play the second waste if you wanted to, but you're not going to get it out that consistently, but you could play it. So we're up against Goryo's. A second Scion is kind of secretly GG against Goryo's game 1 with Leyline, if they don't have any Teferis. Maybe not so secretly. Puts an Ephemerate into their hand. So if I like Ancient Stirrings and I see Scion or Ring, I'll take a Scion here. Because like you just double block the Atraxa, and they can't really get through it unless they have an answer to the Leyline game 1, which they oftentimes do not. Interesting card. They can still pending Leyline. I mean, they don't always play pending, and they don't always have they don't always have the 4th color. I guess yeah, they sometimes have both, but some people don't play the green source, some people don't play main deck pending. But yeah, sometimes they have answers to Leyline, either pending or Teferi. Would you try Emperor of Bones and Mardu Energy? Kind of sounds hot. I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it, but I don't hate it, I guess. So I guess I'm holding the lab in case I don't draw another land to retrace the ring with. I played a ton, it's alright. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Of course, like the issue with Mardu Boros is you have a million good 2-drops to choose from. But the ability to like just get back your Guide of Souls and Ocelot Pride, it does seem important. Right, you got a Gorios? Marty Boris, the shittiest deck before right now. I don't know if it's shitty. It's just like it is just, you know, I'm playing creatures and removal and curving out, but it's the creature power level is so crazy. Is that good enough though? Sex copy end of turn? Maybe not. You do get the Ocelot Pride triggers. Horrendous against combo, not a Tron, just got same lamp. I don't know. I agree. Although horrendous is kind of an interesting thing to say, and I don't necessarily disagree, but the formula of just you were very good in most. I don't know. You're also bad against Just Guy. I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. So if I hit them with a Scion, they can't even activate the Priest, and I drew Nykthos. We're thinking of trying out Boros Convoke again. I need to Convoke. Well, I've had this like asked a lot, but I just mostly still think that Convoke is worse than the Collector's Cage deck. Okay, so if I retrace Fanatic, then I have 6 Devotion, which is short of casting this World Breaker. And I want to cast the World Breaker so I can just block the the Atraxa. After their Black Mana 2, with them being a 3 life, it's just hard for them to get out of this. It's interesting results putting up. Yeah, I mean the decks are definitely good and playable and a big part of the metagame. A big part of it is that people really enjoy to play these kind of decks. It's certainly a big part of the reason why it's so popular. Yeah, but they have to like fetch a Black Source and have Gorios in hand, and then I don't even know what they can do after that though, because they can't gain life off the Atraxa. I guess if they ephemerate, they can gain life on the Atraxa block. Karn for Crypt. The World Breaker just wins the game so hard here. I think World Breaker is better. It's also better against Force of Negation, which I think is a card we could play around. Need an Indulgence and a Thoughtseize is going to be dead. Oh, Solitude, their own archaeologist, after intentionally bricking to put Atraxa into play. Okay, not dead. Not dead. I think we could have floated with Nykthos, played a Nykthos, retraced Karn, Ballista win. Did I not play Nykthos for my land that turn? Yeah, I played this Nykthos this turn, so I could not have played both. Oh yeah, they can't even. Oh sorry, they can't even block with the Atraxa because of first strike. Okay, they choose Ephemerate, Prismatic Ending, Polluted Delta, and Gristlebrand. Yeah, no worries. Goodbye, Gigantha. I've always loved you. I do want you banned though, but actually I don't love you. I'm sorry, that was a lie. Toying with Gigantha's heart. They kind of have to Solitude their own grief. It's like Ephemerate Atraxa to do that. Spike Love your Collector's Cage. I mean, I don't think the deck's amazing. It's okay. It's probably a little underplayed, but probably worse than Boros. Has the ability to like kill faster sometimes, which is nice. Higher upside, lower downside, or higher ceiling, lower floor. But also, like people just talking about Boros Convoke, like just the Collector's Cage is better than Boros Convoke. Okay, they didn't put the Force of Negation they revealed into their hands, so I'm going to go ahead and just start off and cast this. And if it gets countered, we'll go from there. Didn't get countered, so let's Ballista for 1. But they're also just at the first strike. Do I accept ticket donations? No, but I accept you watching the stream and enjoying it. That's all I ever want. They see Doom's donation deck video on Boros Convoke. I haven't, no. If there's I could take a look. Is Access Gigantha better than playing Devour of Destiny? Yeah, this isn't a good Devour of Destiny deck, I think. We're not playing Eldrazi Temple. It's not the easiest to cast if we draw it. I think World Breaker's better. But setting up for powerful early turns is like not irrelevant, of course. Alright, go into 6. Go into 6. So I guess I'm gonna go put back Fanatic and just go turn 2, 6, turn 3 ring. See if that's good enough against Goryo's. Graveyard's a pending. Be pretty interesting what card they take here. If they take the 6, they took the ring super fast, so presumably they have like a Solitude or Thoughtseize or Grief or something. And if that's the case, then I can maybe just Karn Crypt them. But I think it's good to just slam the 6 here. Like, if they're going to Solitude it, we'll just make them get the 2 for 1. Maybe slow them down for a turn if they have, like, Teferi. Worldbreaker is really underwhelming so far, in my opinion. All right, I sincerely, genuinely appreciate the feedback. And I always think it's very interesting when we have chatters that are like, you know, that watch the league and like, I think Worldbreaker seems underwhelming. In these kind of situations. And I would love if you could articulate more. If you don't want to, that's fine. But like I've been playing and I just disagree. I think Worldbreaker has been awesome this league. It draws cards off Kiora. It stabilizes pretty hard. It's like I don't know. I feel like it's been awesome. So I'm just interested to hear that feedback. So let's retrace Ring instead of Karn because of the Grief Ephemerate. Like, we don't want them to like not Ephemerate then kill the Karn too. But and like to some extent, maybe I'm like a little blinded when it comes to Worldbreaker because I've been liking it so much in other decks too. But it's also just I've also liked it a lot here. Kind of crazy not taking 6 the first Aussies. Seems at this point, yeah. But again, I just always think it's weird when like I'm playing a league and I'm liking a card and someone's like, "This card has seemed bad." I think it's interesting how two people can watch the same thing and have a disconnect. A communication breakdown, if you will. It's always the same. I've been listening to Zeppelin today. Extra land's pretty nice to have here. I have 3 after this. We 3-2 the first league, is that right? Or no, we 1-2 the first league. So yeah, we 5-3. Tech for 6 Sigma, Boros, Madcap, Lotus. Huh. Okay, so we played a version of this that was blue-red, and we 4-1 the one league we played, and I thought it looked pretty good, but it was one of those decks that I don't think will get like a lot of attention. And so it's kind of interesting. So it's kind of interesting where you landed here, where you're like, I want to play Blood Sun over Consign, and then we're gonna play. So that way we also get Flagstones for our Lotus Field, and then we can play White Orchid Phantom, which is a bit awkward in our Ugin's Lab deck. And awkward in a deck that has so many red MDFCs. Yeah, the Phantoms look pretty awkward. And you say with Null Drifter, I can evoke it off Lotus Field, and I can hardcast it, and I can imprint. So I think all these things are pretty interesting. So I guess I'm gonna go. Retrace the Leyline, then cast Scion from hand, and then attack. Happy wishes for the 6 months. Thank you for the happy wishes. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you. Flexos weird blood. So no, I mean it's fine. I've done it a lot. I know it's a little weird, but like it's just redundancy for Lotus Field is good enough. It's also good with the Phantoms and the Wildfires. Yeah, I liked the Izzet build a lot, and I end up feeling like I prefer it to be that build versus something like this. I agree that Flagstones is nice, but I think I would want to be more towards that build. But let's assume we want to be this build. You're gonna want to play I think not these Shadow Skull Smashings. Maybe even go down Valakut Awakenings and play some split of Disenchanter or Witch Enchanter and Amaria's Call. I think that could be an interesting split because you just need more white sources if you're gonna be committed to playing White Orchid Phantom. You should play one blue red or white red surveil land in your Flagstones deck, at least one. I would play the 4th Fable over the 4th Cleansing Wildfire, probably. Although I don't even love these Galvanic Discharges that much with no other energy generation. It's definitely okay, but not something I think is probably super optimal either. Yeah, I think the blue red build is probably better, and I thought the deck was really cool, and I would like to circle back to it at some point. Would Boombust over Orchid be better? You could do that, and you have to play the red artifact land, which you can do. We have done. It is fine. I don't know if better is for sure something I would say. So our devotion is 6. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we could. I was just trying to see, can we double World Breaker here, and drawing second Nykthos means almost for sure Z's. This Utopia Sprawl is worth a lot of extra mana too. Is it a 6 or the 1 ring for the match? I mean, the 6? That cast the ring? I don't know. Up to you. Play a Leyline of the Blackest Lotus. This is going to be +4 mana this turn. Any chance a Cauldron deck without Walking Ballista can be good? I mean, Yawgmoth, right? Okay, so we are 4-1. Most of your non-Yawgmoth brews are going to need to play Ballista, though. This deck's pretty sweet. I don't know. It's obviously, like all devotion decks, kind of high variance, but when you run hot, you just kind of, you feel so good. But I've been teasing this updated Mono Black Tower deck for a bit, and I think it's time to get to it.